Food Stories.
This is Food Stories.
This is Food Stories, a podcast from FareShare Greater Manchester.
A podcast from FareShare Greater Manchester.
A podcast from FareShare Greater Manchester.
Hello and welcome to Food Stories from FareShare Greater Manchester. FareShare Greater Manchester is the largest food redistribution charity in the northwest of England, rescuing good-to-eat surplus food from going to waste and redistributing it to charities and community groups who are serving their communities with food. In this episode, we're sharing the inspiring work being done by one of our community food members, Emmaus Mossley.
We have up to 26 residents that we call companions that have experienced or been at risk of homelessness. And we work with them to gain new skills, give them confidence and self-esteem, and try and uniquely tailor support. It's a crazy, brilliant, unique place. It's fantastic.
They can then hopefully move on and find their own place and be able to go into employment and find a home of their own.
It's just a family what you never had, and I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but no, when you lose everyone, it's like a family now you come back home to.
Emmaus Mossley supports people who've experienced homelessness by offering more than just somewhere to stay. Here, residents, known as companions, become part of a community where they can build confidence, learn new skills and receive tailored support to help them move forwards. Here at Emmaus Mossley, companions work in the cafe, producing food for visitors to the on-site charity shop, as well as cooking an evening meal for themselves. Food and cooking is an important part of what goes on.
I'm Danny Gregson and I'm a Catering Manager at Emmaus Mossley. We have up to 26 residents that we call companions that have experienced or been at risk of homelessness. And we work with them to gain new skills, give them confidence and self-esteem, and try and uniquely tailor support, training and works experience really, so they can kind of make it a bit better out there really. So yeah, it's a crazy, brilliant, unique place. It's fantastic.
I can see that. We've just been on a tour around it and it's just quite mind-blowing the things that you've got going here.
It is, it's always busy, so many areas and just lovely volunteers and just great staff, and everybody's invested, I think is the right word. And I think if you come in a couple of days you're like, oh god, it becomes a bit of a bug. You need to be in it, you need to be doing, and it's fantastic, and it kind of feeds through the whole building. That it's a lovely place to work. It really is.
So for anybody who's never visited before, can you just give like an overall idea of what actually is here?
Well, yeah, it's a big charity shop, really. But it's on a big scale. We sell furniture, we sell clothes, we sell things that are made by volunteers. We sell bric-a-brac. We have a big music section, and we're just trying to get the best out of the products that people donate to us. So it goes all the way down the line up until we'd rather not get rid of anything if we can. That's the big thing of ours, and sometimes that's really hard to do. But the getting rid of it costs us money as well. So we try, and just not only that, the effect that it has on the planet is not a good thing. So we try our best to recycle as best we can. We really do. And that's through everything, through in the kitchens, through in the things that we sell. It's a big thing.
Emmaus Mossley is part of a national network of Emmaus charities, supporting more than 1,000 people every year across the UK. At Mossley, the residential community is home to up to 26 companions at any one time. Molly Ridgeway is a retail assistant at Emmaus Mossley.
We offer an opportunity for people to be able to build on the skills that they have and to gain work experience. So from doing what they do here, it's a very varied, there's a lot of different varied roles that will hopefully get people a foot in the door to build on the CV, and even if it's just networking or social skills, they can then hopefully move on and find their own place and be able to go into employment and find a home of their own. So I think that especially the cooking side, it's like going into a catering job. Eventually being able to acquire the skills for that is really, really beneficial, because there's a lot of catering roles that also offer a place to live at the same time.
We've had a few companions that have gone on. Some of them have been in catering roles already and then gone back in, but then we've also had people who've never been in, not just the catering side of it, but the managing of the till and the managing of things like that, and then have gone on to work in hotels, and then it's a really unique thing, that because some hotels you can live there, so that just takes that pressure off, for as long as they need it, really. I think takes the pressure off. I mean, because you get your bills paid and you get your food there and you get your thingy, so it's a really good little core of moving on and still being, not having that pressure on you to have everything straight away. It's quite hard to move on nowadays, isn't it? So it's just having that basic food knowledge as well really helps, just a little bit.
Well, even the training that we offer with the courses and things, food and hygiene, is really important, because it's something that you can take that certificate and say, I've done level 2, level 3. That's physical proof that you've acquired a skill for future employment or other opportunities. I think it learning any skill, regardless of where it is in the shop, and getting experience in that builds confidence anyway, even if it's something that isn't necessarily like, oh, this isn't for me, but you've given it a go, and it's a much better alternative than not doing anything or feeling like you're in a bit of a rut. Just getting out and talking to people, and like we have a really, really positive customer base. People are so supportive and want to support here because they're seeing that direct impact that Emmaus has. So I think
we have companions that work in the kitchen who've not only never worked in a kitchen, never worked a day, and then to see them a few months later, thinking they could do that anywhere. They could run a kitchen anywhere. They really could. And it's brilliant, and it just fills you with this sense of pride of what they're doing, and hopefully gives them a bit of pride in what they're doing. Try and tell them all the time, you pat yourself on the back. It's people I've known working in kitchens for a long time who couldn't have managed what you've done today. Fantastic it is. You do feel really proud of them.
Each companion has their own ensuite bedroom and access to a shared kitchen, dining room, lounge, garden and gym. Residents have a home, a purpose and a chance to make a real contribution to their community. One of the companions at Emmaus Mossley when I visited was Richard. He gave an insight into what life is like there.
Where to start? Companion life is fun. I'll say at times, but it's fun. It's a great opportunity for a new start. It's endless opportunities to push your future in a new direction, from being stuck on the curb, from being homeless on the streets, to self-surfing, to broken relationships and losing jobs. So it's a great opportunity, to restart. So it's good to know there's support out there to push you forward.
And what do you do here?
What do I do here? I do a bit of everything. So I do a lot of the food side, so I do cooking every couple of weeks for the companions and staff, trustees, volunteers, during the week. Majority of the time my role is actually in the cafe. So I do 5 days a week in the cafe, as much as I can. And that could be tasks relating to serving customers, to food handling, to making orders, and even the little jobs as washing up and putting away.
And did you have a catering background?
Not really, no. It was just something I took interest in, and I like to use the word challenged, where we had our sprint fair on Saturday and it was probably our biggest day of the year so far. Won't break numbers down, but we did the biggest day this year on the cafe, and because it was well managed, we had a nice system going. It was hard, but in a good way, so where I see myself, no, I don't like just sitting behind a counter doing nothing, waiting for customers. I like to interact, so I flourish in doing stuff like that.
And what's your end goal?
End goal, it would be similar to a lot of other people's companions would be, to move on with a job and your own place to live and push forward. That's my main goal.
So what's Emmaus done for you?
Give me the opportunities for finding a work coach and letting me have the time when needed to go to appointments, to in the near future get a job, and help me to look for a place to live in the future once I start working. So that's just one of many things they've helped me with.
For Richard and his fellow companions, the experience they have at Emmaus Mossley goes far beyond learning new skills and having somewhere to live.
It's just a family what you never had, and I don't know if that's the right way of saying it, but no, when you lose everyone, it's like a family. Now you come back home to, everyone's been in similar but far different stories between, and so everyone, we're very good at looking after each other. As a family does, you have your moments of squabbling and stuff, but it's a family feel. We call it home.
There you go, that's one.
For catering manager Danny, working with FareShare was an important aspect of sourcing food for the cafe and for wider use within the community for volunteers, staff and companions.
It's very unique. It's a different scenario to any other job that I've been in, because it's not necessarily profit based. I think that when I first came in here, I was like, all right, and it wasn't that at all. It's definitely more community based, which makes it really nice to work. But then can also have its challenges of how, with the prices going up everywhere at the moment. So when I first came in, I think we'd used FareShare in the past. And then that kind of stopped, I think, because of lockdown, maybe. I think it got harder. So when I came here, it was one of the major things I wanted was to get with FareShare and let's, use them. We have, things. We have a soup every day. We do a fresh soup every day. So that kind of things from FareShare really help with things like that.
What's on your menu here on a regular basis?
Well, it's comfort. It's quite basic food in the scheme of it, but also you're going to get the same quality every time you come in. It's very much, and it's something that with the job swappings and the fact that it's a work experience thing. It's not putting that much pressure on somebody to do a really extravagant menu. So for the cafe side, then that's quite a basic. It's your baked potatoes, it's your toasties, it's your fresh soups, but it's all fresh and all and then we do some specials on a weekend, and we have cakes and coffees, but then upstairs is it's a different dinner for the volunteers and for the staff and the companions, and then they'll have tea. The companions will all gather around it and have a tea.
And what about the FareShare food? What does that
Again,
add to you?
It just helps, it really does, because we make an evening meal 5 times a week, or the cook in the kitchen will. Then getting stuff from FareShare it can do a whole meal for 26 people, sometimes under a £5, which is insane. That to me is fantastic. And because of the variety of stuff that we get, it can be, you know, like a really rounded, you know, structured meal that, you know, sometimes is hard to do for that many people and keep it under, you know, 60 quid sometimes for that many people. So yeah, it can really, you know, change how we approach meals and, you know, what they're getting out of that meal as well. It really helps, yeah.
Of course, receiving food from FareShare isn't quite like going to a cash and carry and selecting everything you might like to get. Because of how we operate, we tend to get a lot of one particular item in, especially with seasonal produce like fruit and vegetables, which is something Emmaus Mossley has experienced and used to their advantage.
No, we've had things like the celeriac that we had lots of that a few weeks ago, and it was just great because I'd not worked with it for years, so it was good to. We made soups and we made, you know, like mash, and we made all kinds of things out of it, and it was just very good to give you know, that experience of that, because it's unique, isn't it? And it's something that I think, you know, it's like when you go into a shop, you're like, oh, stay away from that. I have no idea what that is, and it's fun. So hopefully they'll, you know, like.
And even on the side of everybody involved in here, like even our supporters of it, like you said, the cafe is comfort food, and it's toasties, it's jacket potatoes and things, but then you'll do the specials like either for an event or just a one-off, and then people are trying something that I've never heard of that, and then they'll pick it because it's something different. So it's a good mix to try something different, and it's still quite affordable.
It'll be oh, we've got this from FareShare, right, well then we'll make a menu around that, and you know, it really, yeah, it's great. It works really well for us, because I think recently it's been a hell of a lot of fresh food, and that really, you know, like, I can see some people who it doesn't suit, but it does for us. It really does. We'll go in and I'll be like, oh God, you know, all the vine tomatoes and all the lettuces. We got loads the other week, and the butternut squashes. We got loads of them, and we made soups and we made stews and we made everything out of them. It was even some sandwiches, you know, like roasted butternut squash and honey sandwiches we made for an event. So it's, yeah, we just always, it just keeps your brain going. It's a bit more exciting than just the norm, you know, like it definitely helps.
The main activity at Emmaus Mossley is centred around the second-hand superstore, where they collect, process and sell a wide range of donated items, from vinyl to vintage clothing, furniture to ornaments and jewellery. The store generates the majority of the funding, which maintains the companion community and provides valuable work experience for the people they support. Emmaus companions and local volunteers help run all aspects of the second-hand superstore. They have their own on-site workshops where donated goods are repaired, refurbished, tested, upcycled or upholstered. In addition to this work, the Emmaus community has also become a vital hub for the wider community and contributes to other services supporting the town, like the local food bank.
I've lived here all my life, so I'm a bit biased, but I think it's a lovely caring, arty, you know, like fair trade town, and we collect stuff for the local food bank. We have a collection site upstairs near the cafe, and we also we do a pay it forward thing, which is sort of like, you know, you pay £1 and we'll pass that item on to the food bank, and it's raised loads, you know, it really has.
The first year didn't it raise, well, it was less than a year, and it raised about, was it over £1,000?
Yeah, I think we're over two now in like a year and 3/4 or something like that.
Wow.
And that was all down to like the companions behind the till were just really promoting it and going for it, and people, you know, once they learn about these things, they're very supportive and
I think it was one of them where we if you had a box there asking for money, it just wasn't working. So it was sort of like, well, how do we combat that? And it's like, well, having something physical. Not that we're giving them like £2,000 worth of tins of soup, because that just wouldn't work. But it's sort of like that's a physical thing, and you know, you don't have to have change on you, because that was quite often the problem. People like, I haven't got anything to put in there. Where now we kind of have found a good system that does that, and then we pass on. You know, quite often I've gone to Asda and bought everything that they've needed for that, and for the food bank, and it just, hopefully it helps them, and hopefully they realise that we're doing it, everybody's in the community is doing it for the right things, and it's good.
Without being too arrogant as well, I think Emmaus is a very good hub for the community. So whilst people might not venture to the food bank, I mean, I don't know whether I know where it is.
No, I don't. It's not. I don't think it's. Yeah, it's not necessarily open like that all the time.
To be able to come here and think, well, I'm going for a brew. I'm going for like a mooch about. Oh, I can give something to the food bank while I'm here. Like, it's a great hub for that community feeling, and you find out about local things going on because you're already here for another reason. So you can feel really involved, even if it's just chatting to people while you're here. I've met loads of people since I've been here because everybody's friendly and wants to sort of...
We have the same, like we have a core group of regulars who don't necessarily come into shop, they just come in to have a brew and to have a chat, and it's lovely. They become part of the
microcosm. The Emmaus microcosm.
Yeah.
Food has a way of bringing people together. At Emmaus Mossley, every meal tells a story, not just about preventing good food from going to waste, but about rebuilding confidence, creating community and offering hope. Thanks to Danny, Molly, Richard and everyone at Emmaus Mossley for welcoming us into their kitchen and sharing their stories. If you'd like to find out more about the work being done there, you can find a link to their website in the show notes for this episode. If you've been inspired by what you've heard and you'd like to find out more about FareShare Greater Manchester and the work we're doing to support charities and community groups across our city, please have a look at our website to find out how you can support us through food donations, financially or by volunteering your time to support our operation. Please share this episode with anyone who you think would like to hear it too. And if you're able to, please leave a rating and review on your favourite podcast app to help other people find out about food stories from FareShare Greater Manchester. Until next time, thanks for listening.